What if the art you admire in the next century is created not by human hands, but by artificial intelligence? It's a question that's no longer confined to science fiction. With tools like DALL and MidJourney revolutionizing how we think about creativity, the line between human and machine-made art is blurring faster than ever. These AI systems can now generate stunning visuals, intricate designs, and even pieces that mimic the styles of legendary artists, all with just a few prompts. But as we marvel at these advancements, a deeper question emerges. Can AI truly replace the soul, the emotion, the human touch that has defined art for centuries? Art isn't just about aesthetics, it's a reflection of our culture, our struggles, our dreams. It's how we express what it means to be human. So, what happens when machines step into that space? In this video, we'll explore the incredible capabilities of AI in the art world, from its ability to create breathtaking visuals to its potential to democratize creativity. But we'll also dive into the ethical and philosophical debates surrounding this technology. Can AI ever replicate the depth of human emotion? Or will it simply become another tool in the artist's toolkit? This isn't just a conversation about technology, it's about the future of creativity itself. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of where AI art is headed, what it means for artists, and whether human creativity is truly at risk. So, let's dive in and uncover the possibilities and the challenges of this futuristic dilemma. The story of AI art begins not in the sleek labs of today, but in the mid-20th century when computers were still room-sized machines and the idea of artificial intelligence was more science fiction than reality. Back then, artists and programmers began experimenting with algorithms to generate patterns and shapes, creating what we now recognize as the earliest forms of digital art. These were simple, abstract designs, nothing like the photorealistic masterpieces we see today. But they laid the groundwork for a revolution. Fast forward to the 1970s and 1980s, when pioneers like Harold Cohen developed Aaron, one of the first computer programs capable of creating original drawings. Aaron wasn't just following instructions, it was making decisions about composition, color, and form, sparking debates about whether machines could truly be creative. These early experiments were fascinating, but they were still limited by the technology of the time. The art they produced was intriguing, yet it lacked the complexity and emotional depth of human-made works. The real turning point came in the 2010s with the rise of deep learning and neural networks. Suddenly, AI wasn't just following rules, it was learning from vast datasets of existing art, identifying patterns, and generating entirely new pieces. Projects like Google's Deep Dream, which created surreal, dreamlike images, captured the public's imagination and showed the world that AI could do more than crunch numbers, it could create. Then, in 2018, the art world was shaken when an AI-generated portrait titled Portrait of Edmond de Bellamy sold at Christie's for over $400,000. This wasn't just a novelty, it was a statement. The auction marked a pivotal moment, signaling that AI art had arrived as a legitimate form of creative expression. Today, tools like DALL, MidJourney, and Stable Diffusion are pushing the boundaries even further, allowing anyone with a computer to generate stunning visuals in seconds. But as we marvel at these advancements, it's worth asking, is this rise of AI art a threat to human creativity, or is it an opportunity? Could these tools empower artists to explore new frontiers, or will they overshadow the human touch that has defined art for centuries? The answer isn't simple, but one thing is clear. AI art is no longer a fringe experiment, it's here to stay, and it's reshaping the creative landscape in ways we're only beginning to understand. So how does AI art actually work? At its core, it's powered by two groundbreaking technologies: generative adversarial networks, or GAN, and diffusion models. Think of these systems as digital artists with a twist. They don't just follow instructions. They learn from millions of examples to create something entirely new. Let's start with GANs. Imagine a game of cat and mouse, where one player is a forger trying to create convincing art, and the other is a detective trying to spot the fakes. In the world of AI, these players are called the generator and the discriminator. The generator creates images, while the discriminator evaluates them against a data set of real art. Over time, the generator gets better at fooling the discriminator, producing increasingly realistic and original pieces. It's a constant feedback loop, pushing the AI to refine its craft. Diffusion models, on the other hand, work a bit like sculptors. They start with a block of digital noise, random pixels that look like static on an old TV, and gradually refine it into a coherent image. This process is guided by patterns the AI has learned from analyzing countless works of human art. The result, a piece that feels both familiar and entirely new, as if the AI has absorbed the essence of creativity itself. But here's the catch: the quality of AI art depends heavily on the data it's trained on. If the dataset is rich and diverse, the AI can produce stunning, nuanced works. But if the data is limited or biased, the output might feel repetitive or uninspired. This raises an important question: is AI truly creating, or is it just remixing what humans have already made? AI researchers and artists who work with these tools often describe them as collaborators rather than competitors. For example, artist Mario Klingemann, known for his pioneering work with AI, sees these systems as a way to expand the boundaries of creativity. He argues that AI doesn't replace human artists, it gives them new ways to explore ideas and push their craft forward. Yet, this technology also challenges our traditional notions of creativity. If a machine can produce art that moves us, does it matter who or what created it? And if AI can mimic the styles of legendary artists like Van Gogh or Picasso, what does that mean for the value of originality? These are questions that don't have easy answers, but they're reshaping how we think about art in the digital age. As we move forward, it's clear that AI art isn't just a technological marvel, it's a cultural shift. It forces us to reconsider what creativity means and who gets to participate in it. And while the debate over its impact continues, one thing is certain: AI is no longer just a tool for artists, it's becoming a creative force in its own right. One of the most striking advantages of AI art lies in its ability to work at a pace and scale that would be unimaginable for human artists. Imagine creating 100 unique pieces in the time it takes a painter to finish a single canvas. AI doesn't need breaks, doesn't tire, and can churn out artwork in seconds. This speed isn't just impressive, it's transformative. For industries like advertising, gaming, and film, where tight deadlines and high volumes of content are the norm, AI art is a game changer. Need a series of concept designs for a sci-fi movie? AI can generate them overnight. Looking for a fresh logo for a startup, a few prompts, and you've got dozens of options to choose from. But it's not just about speed. AI art also excels at scale. Think about the sheer volume of images required for something like a video game or a virtual reality experience. Human artists would need months, if not years, to produce that level of detail. AI, on the other hand, can generate entire worlds in a fraction of the time. Take, for example, the indie game developer who used AI to create thousands of unique character designs, each with its own distinct style and personality. Without AI, such a project would have been prohibitively expensive and time-consuming. Then there's the novelty factor. AI has an uncanny ability to blend styles, genres, and influences in ways that feel fresh and unexpected. Want a painting that combines the brushstrokes of Van Gogh with the geometric precision of Mondrian? AI can do that. Or how about a digital sculpture that merges ancient Greek aesthetics with futuristic cyberpunk vibes? Again, AI delivers. This ability to remix and reimagine artistic traditions opens up entirely new creative possibilities. It's like having a collaborator who can draw from every art movement in history and invent something entirely original. Some of the most viral AI-generated pieces showcase this unique strength. Remember the AI-generated Renaissance portraits that took social media by storm? These images, created by feeding historical art data into an AI model, looked like they could have been painted by the old masters, yet they were entirely new. Or consider the AI-generated fashion designs that have been featured in major magazines, blending futuristic elements with classic tailoring. These examples aren't just novelties, they're proof of AI's potential to push creative boundaries. But here's the question: could these strengths make AI art more appealing than human-created art in certain contexts? For industries that prioritize efficiency and novelty, the answer might be yes. After all, why spend weeks on a single illustration when AI can produce a dozen in minutes? Yet, this raises another layer of the debate. If AI art becomes the go-to solution for speed and scale, what happens to the value we place on the time, effort, and emotional depth that human artists bring to their work? As we weigh these questions, it's clear that AI art isn't just a tool, it's a disruptor. It challenges us to rethink what we value in art and creativity. And while its strengths are undeniable, they also force us to confront the trade-offs that come with embracing this technology. So, as we move forward, the question isn't just whether AI can create art, it's whether we're ready to redefine what art means in the age of machines. But for all its speed, scale, and novelty, AI art has one glaring limitation: it doesn't feel, at least not in the way human art does. While AI can mimic styles, blend influences, and produce visually stunning pieces, it lacks the ability to truly understand or convey emotion. Art at its core is about expression, about capturing the intangible, the deeply personal, the raw essence of what it means to be human. And that's something AI, no matter how advanced, simply can't replicate. Think about it. When a human artist creates, they draw from their own experiences, their joys, their struggles, their cultural context. A painting isn't just a collection of brushstrokes, it's a story, a reflection of the artist's soul. Take Frida Kahlo's self-portraits, for example. They're not just images, they're windows into her pain, her resilience, her identity. Every stroke carries meaning, every color choice is deliberate. AI, on the other hand, doesn't have a life to draw from. It doesn't know heartbreak, love, or longing. It doesn't understand the weight of history or the nuances of culture. It can only analyze patterns and replicate what it's seen before. This lack of intent and emotion is why some art critics argue that AI-generated work often feels hollow or derivative. Sure, it might look impressive at first glance, but when you dig deeper, there's no there. As artist and critic Jerry Saltz once put it, art is about risk, about vulnerability, about putting yourself on the line. AI doesn't take risks, it calculates. And that calculation, while efficient, can't capture the messy, beautiful complexity of human creativity. Even when AI produces something that resonates emotionally, it's often because we, as viewers, project our own feelings onto it. The AI didn't intend to evoke sadness or joy, it just followed a set of instructions. This raises an important question: does art need intention to be meaningful? For many, the answer is yes. Art isn't just about the final product. It's about the journey, the choices, the humanity behind it. Without that, can AI art ever truly move us? Of course, some argue that these limitations might not be permanent. As AI technology evolves, could it one day develop a form of emotional intelligence? Could it learn to understand context to infuse its creations with meaning? It's a fascinating possibility, but even then, there's a fundamental difference between simulating emotion and truly experiencing it. AI might be able to mimic the what of art, but can it ever grasp the why? This tension between AI's capabilities and its limitations is at the heart of the debate. While it's clear that AI can produce incredible work, it's equally clear that it operates in a fundamentally different way than human artists, and that difference, the gap between calculation and creation, might be the one thing that keeps AI from ever fully replacing human creativity. But does that mean AI art is lesser, or is it simply a new kind of art, one that challenges us to rethink what creativity means in the first place? As we grapple with these questions, one thing is certain: the conversation about AI art isn't just about technology, it's about what it means to be human. And that's a conversation worth having, no matter where the future takes us. Human creativity is a force unlike any other, a blend of emotion, experience, and imagination that defies replication. It's not just about skill or technique. It's about the stories we carry, the cultures we're shaped by, and the moments that leave an indelible mark on our lives. When a human artist creates, they're not just producing a piece of art, they're sharing a piece of themselves. Think about Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. It's not just a painting of a night sky, it's a window into his turbulent emotions, his struggles with mental health, and his longing for connection. Every brushstroke is infused with meaning, every color choice a reflection of his inner world. That depth of feeling, that raw vulnerability, is something no algorithm can replicate. Renowned artist Pablo Picasso once said, "Art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life." This idea captures the transformative power of human creativity. Art isn't just about aesthetics, it's about connection. It's about taking the chaos of life and turning it into something that resonates with others. When we look at a piece of human-made art, we're not just seeing an image, we're engaging with a story, a perspective, a moment in time. That's why art has the power to move us, to challenge us, to make us feel less alone. But what makes human creativity truly unique is its unpredictability. Unlike AI, which follows patterns and rules, human imagination thrives on spontaneity. It's messy, imperfect, and often surprising. Take, for example, the surrealist movement of the early 20th century. Artists like Salvador Dali and Frida Kahlo didn't follow a formula. They embraced the irrational, the dreamlike, the unexpected. Their work wasn't just about what they saw, it was about what they felt. And that's something AI, no matter how advanced, can't truly grasp. Cultural influences also play a huge role in shaping human creativity. Art is deeply tied to the time and place in which it's created, reflecting the values, struggles, and aspirations of a society. Consider the Harlem Renaissance, a cultural movement that celebrated African American identity and heritage. Artists like Jacob Lawrence and Zora Neale Hurston didn't just create art. They told stories of resilience, joy, and community. Their work was a response to their lived experiences, a way of reclaiming and redefining their narrative. AI, on the other hand, doesn't have a cultural identity or a lived experience to draw from. It can mimic styles, but it can't truly understand the context behind them. So, where does that leave AI in the world of art? Rather than seeing it as a threat, many artists are embracing it as a tool, a collaborator that can enhance their creativity rather than replace it. For example, some artists use AI to generate initial concepts or explore new styles, freeing them to focus on the emotional and conceptual aspects of their work. Others see AI as a way to push boundaries, combining human intuition with machine precision to create something entirely new. This partnership between human and machine opens up exciting possibilities. Imagine an artist using AI to generate a series of abstract patterns. then adding their own emotional depth and cultural context to transform those patterns into a powerful statement. Or think about a musician using AI to compose a melody, then infusing it with their own experiences and improvisations to create a song that resonates on a deeply personal level. In these scenarios, AI isn't replacing creativity, it's amplifying it. The key takeaway: human creativity is irreplaceable because it's rooted in what makes us human: our emotions, our experiences, our ability to dream and imagine. AI can mimic, remix, and even inspire, but it can't replicate the soul behind the art. And that's what makes human creativity so extraordinary. It's not just about what we create, but why we create. As we move forward, the challenge isn't to pit human creativity against AI, but to explore how the two can work together to push the boundaries of what art can be. So, while AI might change the way we create, it will never replace the heart of creativity itself, and that's something worth celebrating. While the debate over AI's role in art often centers on competition, many artists are taking a different approach: collaboration. Instead of viewing AI as a rival, they're embracing it as a powerful tool to enhance their creative process. This shift in perspective is opening up exciting new possibilities, transforming how art is made and who gets to make it. Take, for example, the work of contemporary artist DALL. He uses AI to analyze vast datasets, everything from historical weather patterns to the movements of the human body, and transforms them into mesmerizing digital installations. For DALL, AI isn't replacing his creativity, it's amplifying it. By leveraging the machine's ability to process and visualize complex information, he's able to explore ideas that would be impossible to tackle alone. The result: art that feels both deeply human and profoundly futuristic. Then there's the concept of AI as a brainstorming partner. Many artists use tools like DALL or MidJourney to generate initial concepts or explore new styles. Imagine a painter stuck in a creative rut, unsure of where to take their next piece. With a few prompts, they can use AI to generate dozens of variations, sparking ideas they might never have considered on their own. It's like having a digital muse that never runs out of inspiration. But perhaps one of the most exciting aspects of this collaboration is its potential to democratize art creation. Historically, the art world has been exclusive, often limited to those with access to expensive materials, training, or connections. AI tools, on the other hand, are becoming increasingly accessible. With just a computer and an internet connection, anyone can experiment with AI-generated art, regardless of their background or skill level. This accessibility is empowering a new generation of creators, breaking down barriers and expanding the definition of what it means to be an artist. Consider the rise of platforms like Artbreeder, which allows users to blend and manipulate images using AI. These tools aren't just for professionals, they're for anyone with a curiosity and a desire to create. From students exploring digital art for the first time to hobbyists experimenting with new mediums, AI is making creativity more inclusive than ever before. Of course, this collaborative approach isn't without its challenges. Some worry that relying too heavily on AI could dilute the individuality of an artist's work. After all, if everyone is using the same tools, how do you maintain a unique voice? Others question whether AI-generated art can ever truly capture the depth and intentionality of human-made work. These are valid concerns, but they also highlight an important truth. AI is a tool, not a replacement. It's up to the artist to decide how to use it to infuse their work with meaning and purpose. As we look to the future, this collaborative model could redefine not just how art is made, but what art can be. By combining human intuition with machine precision, artists are pushing the boundaries of creativity in ways we're only beginning to imagine. The question isn't whether AI will replace human artists, it's how we can harness its potential to create something entirely new. So, as the lines between human and machine creativity continue to blur, one thing is clear: the future of art isn't about competition. It's about connection between artists, between tools, and between ideas. And in that connection lies the potential for something truly extraordinary. As AI art continues to grow in popularity and influence, it's not just sparking creativity, it's raising some serious ethical questions. Who owns a piece of art created by a machine? Can an algorithm hold copyright? And what happens when AI-generated work blurs the line between originality and imitation? These aren't just hypothetical debates, they're real-world dilemmas that are already reshaping the art world. Take the case of the AI-generated portrait Edmond de Bellamy, which sold at Christie's for over $400,000. While the auction made headlines, it also ignited a legal firestorm. The artwork was created using a data set of historical portraits, many of which were still under copyright. So, who owns the rights to the final piece? The programmers who built the AI, the company that owns the algorithm, or the artists whose work was used to train the system? These questions remain unresolved, highlighting the murky waters of AI art ownership. Then there's the issue of authenticity. When an AI creates a piece of art, is it truly original, or is it just remixing existing works? Some argue that AI art is inherently derivative, since it relies on patterns and data from human-created art. Others counter that all creativity builds on what came before. Even human artists draw inspiration from their predecessors. But where do we draw the line between inspiration and imitation? This debate becomes even more complicated when AI-generated art mimics the style of a specific artist. Imagine an AI producing a painting that looks exactly like a Picasso. Is it a tribute, a forgery, or something entirely new? Legal experts are grappling with these questions, and the answers aren't straightforward. In many countries, copyright law requires a human author, which leaves AI-generated art in a gray area. Some jurisdictions are starting to adapt, with proposals to grant copyright to the person who operates the AI or provides the creative input. But even then, the question of originality remains, as ethicist Dr. Sarah Roberts points out. If an AI creates something based on millions of existing works, can we really call it original? And if not, what does that mean for the value of AI art? These ethical dilemmas aren't just academic, they have real-world consequences for artists, collectors, and the art market as a whole. For example, if AI-generated art becomes more common, how do we ensure that human artists are fairly compensated for their work? Some platforms are already experimenting with royalty systems, where artists whose work is used to train AI models receive a share of the profits. But these solutions are still in their infancy, and many questions remain unanswered. As we look to the future, these challenges could fundamentally change how we think about art. Will the art world adapt to accommodate AI, or will it push back to protect human creativity? And how do we balance innovation with fairness, ensuring that both artists and AI can thrive? These are questions that don't have easy answers, but they're essential to the ongoing conversation about the role of AI in art. What's clear is that the rise of AI art isn't just a technological shift, it's a cultural and ethical one. As we navigate this new landscape, we'll need to rethink not just how art is made, but how it's valued, owned, and shared. And that's a challenge that will shape the art world for decades to come. The rise of AI art isn't just reshaping creativity, it's shaking up the economics of the art world. Imagine a market where stunning, gallery-worthy pieces can be produced in seconds at a fraction of the cost of traditional art. For artists, galleries, and collectors, this shift could be both a blessing and a challenge. On one hand, AI tools make it easier than ever to create and share art, potentially opening doors for new voices. On the other, the sheer volume and affordability of AI-generated work could disrupt the delicate balance of supply and demand, raising questions about the value of human-created art. Take the music industry as an example. When digital tools and streaming platforms emerged, they democratized music production and distribution, but they also devalued certain aspects of the craft. Suddenly, anyone with a laptop could produce a hit song, flooding the market with content and making it harder for traditional musicians to stand out. Could the same thing happen in the art world? If AI-generated pieces become widely available, will collectors still be willing to pay premium prices for human-made works? Or will the market shift toward valuing quantity over quality? This disruption isn't just hypothetical, it's already happening. Some galleries and auction houses are beginning to showcase AI-generated art, and platforms like Etsy and Redbubble are flooded with AI-created design. For buyers, this means more options at lower prices, but for artists who rely on selling their work to make a living, it could mean increased competition and downward pressure on prices. Consider the case of a freelance illustrator who spends weeks perfecting a piece, only to find that clients can now get similar results from an AI tool in minutes. How do they compete in a market that prioritizes speed and cost over craftsmanship? At the same time, AI art could also create new opportunities. Just as digital tools gave rise to entirely new genres of music, AI could inspire fresh artistic movements and business models. For example, some artists are already using AI to create limited edition digital collectibles, known as NFTs, which can be sold directly to collectors without the need for galleries or middlemen. Others are leveraging AI to offer personalized art services, generating custom pieces tailored to individual tastes. These innovations could help artists carve out new niches in an evolving market. But here's the bigger question. Will this disruption make the art world more inclusive or more exclusive? On one hand, AI tools lower the barriers to entry, allowing anyone with a computer to create and share their work. This could democratize art, giving voice to creators who might otherwise be excluded from traditional systems. On the other hand, the flood of AI-generated content could make it harder for individual artists to stand out, potentially concentrating power and profits in the hands of those who control the technology. As we navigate this new landscape, one thing is certain: the art market is at a crossroads. The choices we make now about how we value art, support artists, and regulate AI will shape the future of creativity for generations to come. So, as we embrace the possibilities of AI, let's also consider the responsibilities that come with it. After all, art isn't just a commodity, it's a reflection of who we are and what we value as a society. And that's something worth protecting, no matter how technology evolves. As AI art becomes more integrated into our lives, it's not just changing how we create, it's reshaping how we think about culture itself. Art has always been a mirror reflecting the values, struggles, and aspirations of society. But what happens when that mirror is held up by a machine? Could AI art amplify our cultural diversity, or might it unintentionally flatten the richness of human expression? These questions go beyond technology. They touch on the very essence of who we are and what we value as a society. One of the most intriguing possibilities is that AI could democratize creativity, giving voice to perspectives that have historically been marginalized. Imagine an AI trained on a diverse dataset, drawing from art traditions across the globe, from indigenous storytelling to African textiles, from Japanese ukiyo-e to Latin American muralism. This kind of AI could generate art that celebrates cultural heritage in ways that might not have been possible before, introducing new audiences to traditions they've never encountered. In this way, AI could act as a bridge, connecting cultures and fostering a deeper appreciation for the world's artistic diversity. But there's a flip side to this potential. AI systems are only as good as the data they're trained on, and if that data is biased or incomplete, the art they produce could reinforce stereotypes or erase certain voices. For example, if an AI is trained primarily on Western art, it might struggle to accurately represent non-Western styles or themes. This raises a critical question: can AI art truly reflect the full spectrum of human culture, or will it inadvertently perpetuate the biases of its creators? This tension between diversity and homogenization is already playing out in the art world. Some AI-generated works have been criticized for blending cultural elements in ways that feel superficial or appropriative rather than respectful. A piece that combines, say, traditional Maori patterns with futuristic cyberpunk aesthetics might look striking, but does it honor the cultural significance behind those patterns? Or does it reduce them to mere decoration? These are questions that artists, technologists, and ethicists are grappling with as AI art becomes more prevalent. At the same time, AI has the potential to challenge societal norms by pushing the boundaries of what art can be. For instance, an AI trained on unconventional or avant-garde datasets might produce work that defies traditional categories, sparking conversations about identity, gender, and power. In this way, AI art could become a tool for social critique, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about our world. But perhaps the most profound cultural shift lies in how AI art might shape the next generation's understanding of creativity. For children growing up in a world where machines can generate art at the push of a button, what does it mean to be an artist? Will they see AI as a collaborator, a competitor, or something in between? And how will this influence their own creative journeys? These questions don't have easy answers, but they highlight the profound cultural implications of AI art. As we move forward, it's crucial to approach this technology with both curiosity and caution, ensuring that it enriches our cultural landscape rather than diminishing it. After all, art isn't just about what we create, it's about who we are. And in the age of AI, that's a conversation worth having. What happens to our perception of creativity when machines start producing art that rivals human-made works? This isn't just a philosophical question, it's a psychological one. As AI-generated art becomes more prevalent, it's beginning to shape how we think about creativity itself. Studies suggest that our brains process AI art differently than human-made art, and this shift could have profound implications for how we value and engage with creative works. For example, research from the field of neuroaesthetics, a branch of science that explores how the brain responds to art, shows that when we view human-made art, our brains often activate areas associated with empathy and emotional connection. This is because we instinctively recognize the intention and effort behind the work. But when it comes to AI-generated art, the response can be more detached. Without the context of a human creator, we might admire the technical skill or aesthetic appeal, but the emotional resonance can feel muted. Psychologists argue that this difference could change how we assign value to art, potentially prioritizing novelty or efficiency over depth and meaning. There's also evidence that exposure to AI art might influence our decision-making. In one study, participants were asked to choose between a human-made painting and an AI-generated one. Interestingly, when told the origin of each piece, participants overwhelmingly preferred the human-made work, associating it with authenticity and emotional depth. But when the origins were hidden, the preferences were split almost evenly. This suggests that our perception of creativity is deeply tied to the story behind the art, the human story. If AI art becomes indistinguishable from human-made art, could we lose that connection? And if so, what does that mean for the way we experience and value creativity? Neuroscientists are also exploring the long-term effects of AI art on our brains. Some theorize that constant exposure to machine-generated content could alter our neural pathways, making us less attuned to the subtleties of human expression. Over time, this might lead to a kind of creative desensitization, where we become less moved by the emotional depth of human art and more focused on the technical perfection of AI-generated works. It's a concerning possibility, especially for those who see art as a vital expression of the human experience, but not all experts see this as a negative. Some psychologists argue that AI art could actually expand our understanding of creativity. By challenging our assumptions about what art is and who can create it, AI might push us to think more critically about the nature of creativity itself. Could creativity be less about the creator and more about the impact of the work? Or is there something inherently human about the act of creation that machines can never replicate? These are questions that don't have easy answers, but they're sparking fascinating conversations in both the art and science communities. As we grapple with these ideas, one thing is clear: AI art isn't just changing how we create, it's changing how we think. Whether it's reshaping our emotional responses, influencing our preferences, or challenging our definitions of creativity, AI is forcing us to confront what it means to be human in an increasingly digital world. And that's a conversation that goes far beyond art. It's about the future of how we see ourselves. So, as we continue to explore the possibilities of AI art, let's also consider its impact on our minds and hearts. After all, creativity isn't just about what we make. It's about how we feel, how we connect, and how we understand the world around us. And in that sense, the story of AI art is still being written, not just by machines, but by all of us. As we peer into the next century, the future of AI art feels both exhilarating and uncertain. Imagine a world where AI systems don't just replicate human creativity, but evolve beyond it, crafting entirely new art forms that we can't yet conceive. Futurists predict that advancements in neural networks and emotional intelligence could enable AI to not only mimic human emotions, but to understand and express them in ways that resonate deeply with audiences. Picture an AI that doesn't just analyze data, but interprets the nuances of human experience, joy, grief, longing, and translates them into art that feels profoundly personal. Some experts, like AI researcher Fei Lai, suggest that future AI systems might even develop a form of creative intuition, blending logic with a kind of digital empathy. This could lead to art that isn't just visually stunning but emotionally transformative. Imagine an AI that creates a painting inspired by the collective grief of a community after a tragedy, or a symphony that captures the universal hope of a new beginning. These possibilities aren't just about technology, they're about redefining what art can be and how it connects us. But with these advancements come questions. If AI can create art that moves us as deeply as human-made works, will we still value the imperfections and vulnerabilities that define human creativity? Or will the sheer efficiency and novelty of AI art overshadow the time, effort, and emotional depth that human artists bring to their craft? Futurist Ray Kurzweil has speculated that by the mid-21st century, AI could become indistinguishable from human creators in many fields, including art. If that happens, will human creativity become a relic of the past, or will it find new ways to thrive alongside its digital counterparts? One possibility is that AI and human creativity will merge in ways we can't yet imagine. Artists might use AI not just as a tool but as a collaborator, blending their own intuition with the machine's ability to process and innovate. This partnership could give rise to entirely new genres of art, ones that blur the line between human and machine, between the organic and the synthetic. Think of it as a creative symbiosis where the strengths of both are amplified to create something neither could achieve alone. Yet, even as we marvel at these possibilities, it's worth asking, Will AI ever truly replace the human soul behind the art? While machines can mimic and innovate, they lack the lived experiences, the cultural context, and the emotional depth that make human creativity so unique. Art isn't just about the final product, it's about the story behind it, the journey of the creator, and the connection it fosters with the audience. These are qualities that no algorithm, no matter how advanced, can fully replicate. So, as we look to the future, the question isn't just whether AI will replace human creativity, it's how we'll navigate this new landscape together. Will we see AI as a rival or as a partner in expanding the boundaries of what art can be? The answer may lie not in choosing between human and machine, but in finding ways to harmonize their strengths. After all, the future of art isn't just about who creates it, it's about how it moves us, challenges us, and helps us understand ourselves. And in that sense, the story of AI art is just beginning. As AI continues to reshape the art world, one of the most pressing questions is how we prepare the next generation of artists to navigate this new landscape. Art education, long rooted in traditional techniques and human expression, now faces the challenge of integrating AI tools and concepts into its curriculum. But this isn't just about teaching students how to use new technology, it's about equipping them to collaborate with AI while preserving the essence of what makes their creativity uniquely human. Some forward-thinking institutions are already leading the way. Take the Rhode Island School of Design, for example, which has introduced courses that explore the intersection of art and AI. Students learn not only how to use tools like generative adversarial networks, but also how to critically engage with the ethical and philosophical questions these technologies raise. It's a model that emphasizes collaboration over competition, encouraging artists to see AI as a partner rather than a threat. Similarly, the MIT Media Lab has developed programs that blend art, science, and technology, fostering a new kind of creative thinker, one who can harness the power of AI while staying true to their artistic vision. These initiatives are more than just experiments. They're blueprints for how art education might evolve in the age of AI. By teaching students to think critically about the role of technology in their work, these programs are helping to shape a future where human and machine creativity coexist. But integrating AI into art education isn't just about technical skills, it's also about fostering a mindset. Educators are increasingly emphasizing the importance of adaptability and curiosity, encouraging students to explore new tools and techniques without losing sight of their own creative voice. After all, the goal isn't to replace human creativity but to expand it. As artist and educator Sao-Gwyn Chung puts it, the future of art isn't about choosing between human and machine, it's about finding ways to amplify what each does best. This shift in education could also help bridge the gap between human and AI creativity. By teaching students to collaborate with AI, we're not just preparing them for the future, we're shaping that future. Imagine a world where artists use AI to push the boundaries of their craft, creating works that blend human intuition with machine precision. Or think about how AI could democratize art education, making creative tools and techniques accessible to people who might not have had the opportunity to study art in traditional settings. Of course, this transformation won't happen overnight. There are challenges to overcome, from ensuring equitable access to technology to addressing the ethical concerns that come with AI-generated art. But the potential is immense. By rethinking how we teach art, we're not just adapting to a changing world, we're helping to shape it. So, as we look to the future, the role of education becomes clear. It's not just about teaching the next generation of artists how to use AI, it's about empowering them to redefine what art can be. And in that redefinition lies the promise of a richer, more inclusive creative landscape, where human and machine creativity come together to inspire something truly extraordinary. The influence of AI art isn't confined to visual mediums. It's spilling over into other creative fields, reshaping how we think about music, film, and even literature. Imagine a world where AI composes symphonies, writes screenplays, or crafts poetry. It's not science fiction, it's happening right now. Take AI-generated music, for example. Tools like OpenAI's Jukebox can create original compositions in the style of legendary artists from Beethoven to Beyoncé. These pieces aren't just imitations, they're entirely new works, blending familiar elements with unexpected twists. But while the technical skill is impressive, the question remains, can an algorithm capture the emotional depth of a human composer? In the world of film, AI is already making waves. Scriptwriting tools like Sudowrite use machine learning to generate dialogue, plot points, and even entire scenes. Some filmmakers are experimenting with AI to create storyboards or even direct short films. For instance, the 2016 short film Sunspring was written entirely by an AI, and while the result was surreal and at times nonsensical, it sparked a fascinating conversation about the role of machines in storytelling. Could AI eventually write a blockbuster screenplay? Perhaps, but will it understand the nuances of human emotion, the subtle interplay of character and conflict that makes a story resonate? That's a much harder question to answer. Then there's literature. AI has already dipped its toes into poetry and prose, with tools like GPT-3 crafting everything from haikus to full-length novels. Some of these works are surprisingly compelling, with rich imagery and flowing language. But here's the catch: AI doesn't feel. It doesn't draw from personal experience or cultural context. It doesn't know what it's like to fall in love, to grieve, to dream. And that's where the line between human and machine creativity becomes most apparent. While AI can mimic the structure of a poem or the rhythm of a story, it can't infuse those words with the raw, unfiltered emotion that makes literature so powerful. These intersections between AI and creative fields raise a broader question. Could AI redefine what we consider creativity? If machines can compose music, write scripts, and craft poetry, does that mean creativity is no longer uniquely human? Some argue that AI is simply a tool, a way to amplify human creativity rather than replace it. Others see it as a challenge to our traditional notions of artistry, pushing us to think more critically about what makes a work of art meaningful. What's clear is that AI is blurring the boundaries between disciplines, creating new opportunities for collaboration and innovation. Imagine a filmmaker using AI to generate a score that perfectly matches the mood of a scene, or a novelist collaborating with an AI to explore new narrative structures. These partnerships could lead to entirely new forms of expression, ones that blend the best of human intuition with the precision of machine learning. As we explore these possibilities, one thing is certain: the intersection of AI and creativity is just beginning. Whether it's music, film, literature, or beyond, AI is challenging us to rethink what art can be and who gets to create it. And in that redefinition lies the potential for something truly extraordinary. While AI is often seen as a disruptor in the art world, it's also emerging as a powerful tool for preservation and revival. Imagine a centuries-old painting, its colors faded and canvas cracked, brought back to life with the help of artificial intelligence. This isn't just a dream, it's happening right now. AI is being used to restore damaged artworks, filling in missing details and reconstructing lost elements with astonishing accuracy. For example, researchers have employed machine learning algorithms to analyze the brushstrokes and color palettes of masterpieces, enabling them to digitally restore works that might otherwise be lost to time. One standout example is the restoration of Rembrandt's The Night Watch. Using AI, experts were able to recreate missing sections of the painting which had been trimmed down centuries ago. By analyzing the artist's techniques and style, the AI generated a digital version of what the original might have looked like, offering viewers a glimpse into the past that would have been impossible without this technology. Similarly, AI has been used to restore ancient frescoes and sculptures, preserving cultural heritage for future generations. But AI's role in art preservation goes beyond restoration. It's also helping to revive lost masterpieces. Take the case of Gustav Klimt's faculty paintings, a series of works destroyed during World War II. Using photographs and sketches, researchers trained an AI to recreate the lost paintings, capturing Klimt's signature style and intricate details. The result, a digital resurrection of art that many thought was gone forever. Projects like these highlight AI's potential to act as a bridge between the past and the present, ensuring that the legacy of great artists endures. This preservation role raises an intriguing question. Could AI become an ally rather than a competitor to human artists? By taking on tasks like restoration and replication, AI frees up human creators to focus on what they do best: innovating, experimenting, and pushing the boundaries of their craft. It's a partnership that could redefine how we think about art, blending the old with the new in ways that honor tradition while embracing the future. At the same time, this collaboration isn't without its challenges. Some worry that relying too heavily on AI for restoration could lead to a loss of the human touch, the subtle imperfections that make each piece unique. Others question whether AI-generated replicas can ever truly capture the soul of the original. These concerns are valid, but they also underscore the importance of balance. AI can be a powerful tool for preservation, but it's up to us to ensure that it enhances rather than overshadows the human element. As we look to the future, the role of AI in preserving and reviving art offers a compelling vision of what's possible. It's not just about saving the past, it's about creating a dialogue between history and innovation, one that enriches our understanding of art and its enduring power. And in that dialogue, AI might just prove to be one of the most valuable allies human creativity has ever had. But here's the million-dollar question: can AI ever truly be creative? Or is it simply mimicking patterns it's learned from human-made art? This isn't just a technical debate, it's a philosophical one, touching on the very nature of creativity itself. Some argue that creativity requires consciousness, a spark of intent that only humans possess. After all, when we create, we're not just following rules or patterns, we're expressing something deeply personal, something that comes from our experiences, emotions, and imagination. Can a machine, no matter how advanced, ever replicate that? On one side of the debate are thinkers like philosopher John Searle, who famously argued that machines can only simulate understanding, not truly possess it. In his view, creativity isn't just about producing something new. It's about understanding why it's new, about having a sense of purpose and meaning behind the act of creation. Without that, can we really call AI-generated art creative? Or is it just a sophisticated form of imitation? But not everyone agrees. Some scientists and artists, like cognitive scientist Margaret Bowden, suggest that creativity doesn't necessarily require consciousness. Bowden defines creativity as the ability to generate ideas or artifacts that are both novel and valuable. By that definition, AI can absolutely be creative. It's already producing work that's original and meaningful to human audiences. Take the AI-generated portrait Edmond de Bellamy, for example. It's not just a copy of existing art, it's something entirely new, something that resonates with viewers on an emotional level. Doesn't that count as creativity? Then there's the perspective of artists who work with AI, like Mario Klingemann. He sees AI not as a rival but as a collaborator, a tool that can push the boundaries of what's possible. For Klingemann, creativity isn't about who or what is doing the creating. It's about the result, the impact of the work on the audience. If an AI-generated piece moves someone, inspires them, or makes them think, does it really matter if the machine understands what it's doing? As AI continues to evolve, this debate is only going to get more complex. What happens when AI systems become so advanced that they can simulate not just creativity, but something resembling intent? Could we reach a point where the line between human and machine creativity becomes indistinguishable? Futurists like Ray Kurzweil predict that by the mid-21st century, AI could achieve a level of sophistication that blurs these boundaries entirely. But even then, the question remains, does creativity require a soul, a sense of self, a lived experience? Or is it simply a process, a set of algorithms that can be replicated and refined? These questions don't have easy answers, but they're essential to the ongoing conversation about AI and art. As we move forward, the debate isn't just about whether AI can be creative, it's about how we define creativity itself. And in that definition lies the key to understanding not just the future of art, but the future of what it means to be human. So, as we marvel at the possibilities of AI-generated art, let's also take a moment to reflect on what makes creativity so uniquely human. After all, art isn't just about what we create. It's about why we create and how those creations connect us to one another. And that's something no machine, no matter how advanced, can ever fully replicate. Art has always been a mirror to the human soul, a way to capture the intangible love, grief, joy, and everything in between. These emotions aren't just feelings, they're the lifeblood of creativity, the driving force behind every brushstroke, every note, every word. Human artists pour their experiences into their work, creating pieces that resonate because they're born from lived moments. A painting isn't just a collection of colors, it's a story of heartbreak or triumph. A song isn't just a sequence of notes, it's a cry of longing or a celebration of life. This emotional depth is what makes art so powerful, so uniquely human. But here's the challenge, can AI ever replicate this? Machines don't feel love or grief. They don't know what it's like to lose someone, to fall in love, or to stand in awe of a sunset. They can analyze patterns, mimic styles, and even generate pieces that look emotionally charged, but they don't feel the emotions behind them. Take, for example, a painting inspired by the loss of a loved one. A human artist might use jagged lines and dark tones to convey pain, or soft, blurred edges to evoke a sense of fading memory. These choices aren't random, they're deeply personal, rooted in the artist's own emotional landscape. An AI, on the other hand, might produce a similar image, but it's following algorithms, not instinct. It doesn't understand the weight of loss, it's just replicating what it's seen before. This raises an important question. Does art need emotion to be meaningful? For many, the answer is yes. Art isn't just about aesthetics, it's about connection. When we look at a piece of human-made art, we're not just seeing an image, we're engaging with a story, a perspective, a moment in time. That's why art has the power to move us, to challenge us, to make us feel less alone. Without that emotional core, can AI art ever truly resonate? Some argue that AI might one day develop its own form of emotional expression. Futurists speculate that as AI systems become more advanced, they could simulate emotions by analyzing human behavior and cultural context. Imagine an AI that creates a piece inspired by the collective grief of a community after a tragedy, or a symphony that captures the universal hope of a new beginning. These possibilities are intriguing, but they also blur the line between simulation and authenticity. Can a machine ever truly feel, or is it just mimicking what it's learned? This tension between human and machine creativity isn't just a technical debate, it's a philosophical one. It forces us to ask what makes art meaningful. Is it the intention behind the work, the emotional connection it fosters, or simply the impact it has on the viewer? these questions don't have easy answers, but they're essential to the ongoing conversation about AI and art. As we move forward, one thing is clear: the emotional depth of human creativity is something no machine can fully replicate. But that doesn't mean AI art is lesser, it's just different. It challenges us to rethink what we value in art and how we define creativity. And in that challenge lies the potential for something truly extraordinary, a future where human and machine creativity coexist, each enriching the other in ways we're only beginning to imagine. What if the next great art movement isn't born from a human mind, but from the algorithms of a machine? It's a tantalizing thought, one that pushes us to imagine a future where AI doesn't just replicate existing art forms, but invents entirely new ones. Think about it. AI has the ability to process and analyze vast amounts of data, spotting patterns and connections that might elude even the most creative human mind. This unique capability could lead to artistic innovations that are as groundbreaking as they are unexpected. Imagine an art form that blends sound, light, and movement in ways we've never seen before. Picture an AI-generated installation that responds to the emotions of its audience, shifting colors and shapes in real time based on their reactions. Or consider a digital canvas that evolves over time, growing and changing as it absorbs new data from the world around it. These aren't just hypotheticals, they're possibilities that AI's computational power makes achievable. By synthesizing information from diverse sources, music, architecture, biology, even quantum physics, AI could create art that transcends traditional categories, offering experiences that are as immersive as they are innovative. But here's the twist: these new art forms might not even be something we can fully comprehend at first. Just as abstract art was once dismissed as chaotic or nonsensical, AI-generated creations could challenge our very definition of what art is. Could a piece of art that's constantly evolving, shaped by algorithms and data streams, still be considered art? Or does it represent something entirely new, a fusion of technology and creativity that defies categorization? This potential for AI to redefine the boundaries of art raises fascinating questions about the future of creativity. If AI can invent art forms that humans have never imagined, does that make it a creator in its own right? Or is it simply a tool, a catalyst for human imagination? Some artists and technologists argue that AI's role is to expand the possibilities of art, not to replace human creativity. By pushing the limits of what's possible, AI could inspire us to think bigger, to explore uncharted creative territories that we might never have ventured into on our own. At the same time, this shift could also challenge our traditional notions of authorship and originality. If an AI creates a new art form, who gets the credit? The programmers who designed the system, the artists who trained it, or the machine itself? These questions don't have easy answers, but they're essential to the ongoing conversation about the role of AI in art. As we look to the future, one thing is clear: the potential for AI to create new art forms is as exciting as it is uncertain. It's a frontier that invites us to rethink not just how we create, but what we consider art in the first place. And in that redefinition lies the promise of a creative landscape that's richer, more diverse, and more dynamic than ever before. So, as we explore these possibilities, let's keep an open mind, because the next great art movement might not come from a studio or a gallery, but from the algorithms of a machine. One of the most exciting possibilities of AI art lies in its potential to break down barriers and make creativity accessible to everyone. For centuries, the art world has often felt exclusive, reserved for those with formal training, expensive materials, or connections to elite institutions. But what if you didn't need years of practice or a fancy studio to create something beautiful? What if all you needed was a computer and a spark of imagination? That's the promise of AI art tools. They're leveling the playing field, allowing anyone to express themselves creatively, regardless of their background or skill level. Take the story of Sarah, a nurse with no formal art training who discovered AI tools like MidJourney during the pandemic. With just a few prompts, she began generating stunning digital landscapes that reflected her love of nature and her experiences on the front lines of healthcare. For Sarah, AI wasn't just a tool, it was a gateway to a creative outlet she never knew she had. Stories like hers are becoming increasingly common as people from all walks of life use AI to explore their artistic potential. Whether it's a teacher creating custom illustrations for her classroom or a retiree designing digital postcards for friends, AI is empowering individuals to create in ways that were once out of reach. This democratization of art creation isn't just about accessibility, it's also about diversity. By lowering the barriers to entry, AI tools are amplifying voices that have historically been marginalized in the art world. Consider the rise of platforms like Artbreeder, where users from around the globe can collaborate on AI-generated art projects. These platforms aren't just for professional artists, they're for anyone with a story to tell. From indigenous creators preserving cultural traditions through digital art to young activists using AI to design powerful protest posters, the art world is becoming more inclusive, more vibrant, and more reflective of the world we live in. But this shift also raises important questions. If anyone can create art with AI, does that devalue the work of traditional artists? Some argue that the ease of AI-generated art could flood the market, making it harder for skilled artists to stand out. Others worry that the emotional depth and intentionality of human-made art could be overshadowed by the sheer volume of machine-generated content. These concerns are valid, but they also highlight the need for balance. AI isn't here to replace human creativity, it's here to expand it. By giving more people the tools to create, we're not just democratizing art, we're enriching it. The real question is, what does this mean for the future of the art world? Could AI help us move toward a more inclusive, equitable creative landscape where everyone has the opportunity to share their voice? Or will it create new challenges, forcing us to rethink how we value and define art? These are questions without easy answers, but they're essential to the ongoing conversation about the role of AI in creativity. As we look ahead, one thing is clear: AI has the power to transform not just how we create, but who gets to create. And in that transformation lies the potential for a more diverse, more dynamic art world, one where creativity knows no boundaries. But as we embrace the possibilities of AI in art, it's important to pause and ask, what happens when we rely too heavily on machines for creative tasks? While AI offers incredible tools for efficiency and innovation, there's a risk that overdependence could erode the very qualities that make art uniquely human. One of the most pressing concerns is the potential loss of the human touch, the imperfections, the vulnerabilities, the raw emotion that breathe life into a piece of art. When every brushstroke or musical note is polished to perfection by an algorithm, does the work lose its soul? Another risk is the homogenization of artistic styles. AI systems are trained on existing datasets, which means they tend to replicate patterns and trends they've already seen. While this can lead to impressive results, it also raises the possibility of art becoming formulaic, with fewer opportunities for bold, unconventional ideas to break through. Imagine a world where every painting, every song, every story feels just a little too familiar, as if it's been filtered through the same digital lens. Could this stifle the kind of risk-taking and experimentation that drives artistic innovation? There's also the question of originality. If AI is constantly drawing from the same pool of data, how do we ensure that new voices and perspectives aren't drowned out? For example, an AI trained primarily on Western art might struggle to accurately represent non-Western styles or themes, inadvertently reinforcing cultural biases. This isn't just a technical issue, it's a cultural one, with implications for how we value and preserve the diversity of artistic expression. But perhaps the most subtle risk is the impact on the creative process itself. For many artists, the act of creation is deeply personal, a journey of discovery and self-expression. When AI takes over too much of that process, does it diminish the artist's connection to their work? Could we end up with art that feels more like a product than a passion? These are questions that don't have easy answers, but they're essential to consider as we navigate the evolving relationship between human and machine creativity. So, how do we strike a balance? The key may lie in viewing AI not as a replacement for human creativity, but as a complement to it. By using AI to handle repetitive or technical tasks, artists can free up more time and energy to focus on the emotional and conceptual aspects of their work. Think of it as a partnership where the strengths of both human and machine are leveraged to create something greater than the sum of its parts. As we move forward, the challenge isn't to reject AI, but to integrate it thoughtfully, ensuring that it enhances rather than overshadows the human element. After all, art isn't just about what we create, it's about how we create and why. And in that sense, the future of creativity isn't a choice between human and machine. It's a collaboration, one that invites us to explore new possibilities while staying true to the heart of what makes art meaningful. As AI continues to reshape the art world, it's not just changing how we create, it's redefining what we consider successful or valuable art. For centuries, artistic success has been tied to skill, originality, and the ability to evoke emotion. But in a world where machines can produce stunning visuals in seconds, are these traditional metrics still enough? Could AI-generated art challenge our very understanding of what it means to be talented or original? One of the most intriguing shifts is the way AI is democratizing creativity. In the past, success in the art world often required years of training, access to expensive materials, and connections to elite institutions. But with AI tools, anyone can create something visually impressive, regardless of their background or experience. This accessibility is empowering a new generation of creators, but it's also raising questions about the value we place on technical skill. If a machine can replicate the brushstrokes of a master painter, does that diminish the achievement of human artists who have spent decades honing their craft? At the same time, AI is challenging our notions of originality. Traditionally, originality has been a cornerstone of artistic success. The ability to create something entirely new, something that hasn't been seen before. But AI-generated art often relies on remixing existing styles and patterns, blending influences in ways that feel fresh but are rooted in what's come before. Does this make AI art less original, or does it simply represent a new kind of creativity, one that thrives on synthesis rather than pure invention? These questions aren't just theoretical, they're already influencing the art market. Take the rise of AI-generated NFTs, for example. These digital collectibles, often created with minimal human input, have sold for millions of dollars, challenging traditional ideas about what makes art valuable. For some, the novelty and technical sophistication of these pieces are enough to justify their worth. For others, the lack of human intention and emotional depth makes them feel hollow. This tension highlights a broader debate. In the age of AI, what should we value most in art, the process, the product, or the story behind it? As these redefinitions take hold, they could have profound implications for future artists. Will success come to depend less on technical mastery and more on the ability to collaborate with AI, to harness its potential in innovative ways? Or will the art world double down on the qualities that make human creativity unique? valuing emotion, intention, and cultural context above all else. These are questions that don't have easy answers, but they're shaping the future of art in ways we're only beginning to understand. What's clear is that AI isn't just a tool, it's a catalyst forcing us to rethink what we value in creativity and how we define success. As we navigate this new landscape, the challenge isn't to choose between human and machine, but to find a balance that honors the best of both. After all, the future of art isn't just about who creates it, it's about how it moves us, challenges us, and helps us understand ourselves. And in that sense, the story of AI art is still being written, one brushstroke at a time. As we stand at the crossroads of human and machine creativity, one question looms large: will human artists adapt to coexist with AI, or will they risk becoming obsolete in a world dominated by algorithms? The answer isn't a simple either-or, it's a spectrum of possibilities, each with its own challenges and opportunities. On one end, we could see a future where human creativity thrives alongside AI, with artists using these tools to amplify their vision and push boundaries in ways they never could alone. On the other, there's the risk that AI's efficiency and novelty could overshadow the slower, more deliberate process of human creation, leaving artists struggling to compete in a machine-driven market. Consider the first scenario, a world where human and AI creativity coexist in harmony. In this future, artists might use AI as a collaborator, leveraging its ability to generate ideas, refine techniques, and handle repetitive tasks. Imagine a painter using AI to experiment with color palettes, or a musician employing algorithms to compose intricate harmonies, freeing them to focus on the emotional and conceptual aspects of their work. This partnership could lead to entirely new forms of expression, blending human intuition with machine precision to create art that's richer and more dynamic than ever before. But what about the other side of the coin? In a world where AI-generated art becomes the norm, human artists could face an uphill battle to remain relevant. If machines can produce stunning visuals, compelling stories, or moving music in seconds, what's to stop audiences from gravitating toward the speed and novelty of AI creations? This scenario raises concerns about the devaluation of human effort, as the time, skill, and emotional depth that go into traditional art might be overshadowed by the sheer volume and accessibility of machine-generated work. So, how do we ensure that human creativity doesn't just survive but thrives in this new landscape? The key lies in adaptation. Human artists can focus on the qualities that machines can't replicate: the ability to tell deeply personal stories, to infuse their work with cultural context, and to connect with audiences on an emotional level. By embracing AI as a tool rather than a rival, artists can carve out a niche that celebrates the uniquely human aspects of creativity. At the same time, education and advocacy will play a crucial role. By teaching the next generation of artists to collaborate with AI while staying true to their own creative voice, we can foster a future where human and machine creativity complement rather than compete with each other. It's not about resisting change, it's about shaping it, ensuring that technology enhances rather than diminishes the human experience of art. As we look to the future, the question isn't whether human creativity will adapt or become obsolete. It's how we choose to navigate this evolving relationship. By embracing innovation while staying rooted in what makes us uniquely human, we can create a world where art remains a vibrant, meaningful expression of who we are. And in that balance lies the promise of a creative future that's as diverse and dynamic as the people who shape it. As we wrap up this exploration of AI art and its impact on human creativity, it's clear that the relationship between the two is anything but simple. On one hand, AI has proven itself to be a powerful tool, capable of generating breathtaking visuals, democratizing art creation, and even preserving cultural heritage. It's pushing the boundaries of what's possible, opening doors to new forms of expression, and making creativity more accessible than ever before. Yet, on the other hand, it raises profound questions about originality, emotion, and the very essence of what makes art meaningful. Can a machine ever truly replicate the depth of human experience, the stories behind the brushstrokes, or the soul behind the song? The answer, it seems, lies not in choosing between human and AI creativity, but in finding a way for the two to coexist. AI isn't here to replace artists, it's here to amplify their potential, to serve as a collaborator rather than a competitor. By embracing these tools, artists can explore new frontiers, experiment with styles, and push the limits of their craft in ways they never could alone. At the same time, it's crucial to preserve the qualities that make human creativity so unique: the emotional depth, the cultural context, and the personal stories that breathe life into every piece of art. So, where does this leave us? The future of art isn't a zero-sum game. It's not about human creativity versus AI. It's about how the two can work together to create something extraordinary. Whether you're an artist, a technologist, or simply someone who loves art, this is a conversation worth having. What role do you think AI should play in the creative process? Will it replace human artists, or will it become their greatest ally? Before you go, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your perspective in the comments below. Do you see AI as a threat to human creativity, or as a tool that can enhance it? And as you reflect on this, remember, the future of art may not be about choosing between human and AI creativity, but finding harmony between the two. After all, the most powerful art has always been a reflection of who we are, and in the age of AI, that's a story we're still writing together.